Buenas tardes. Retomando actividades dentro del Instituto de Conferencias, Tecnología y Tecnología, tenemos ahora al doctor Alfred Jaila. Él es profesor asociado, director de programas de ciberseguridad de la Universidad de Tampa y también coordinador del Departamento de Información y Manejo de la Tecnología. Y él nos va a presentar el temas contemporáneos en ciberseguridad y la amenaza de la inteligencia artificial. Hubo un cambio y él nos va a presentar a los 4 y luego tendremos a las 5. Nos vamos a escucharlo, por favor.
Yep. Whenever you're ready, Albert.
And you can see my screen?
We can't see your screen yet. We're looking at, well, we can't see your screen. We're looking at you right now.
Not the screen?
Not the screen.
So I am sharing my PowerPoints.
Maybe, should we ask us? Advanced students. I thought it was just, you just go up there and tell it to share. But yeah.
What about advanced? There you go.
Oh, there it is. Now we have it.
All right.
So whenever, yeah, go ahead. I'm just getting the screen.
I'll start. Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this presentation. I want to start with some examples, some warm-up news that you may have seen in the past. One of them is this tweet from the U.S. Strategic Command. So this tweet seems like some random letters, a combination of letters, but turns out that the person who is taking care of the social media was working from home, and he left his computer on, and his kid came and started tweeting things from his account. So it is interesting because U.S. Strategic Command, I believe, holds the codes for nuclear missiles, right? So somewhere you have to have a lot of information, information security, cybersecurity. We have this example of a problem.
Okay, Albert, let us translate that.
Sorry?
Let us translate that.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there's a part.
Bien, él comenta la situación en que parece, si ustedes ven ese tweet, simplemente parece un juego de palabras, de letras ahí, no dice nada, pero es un tweet de un departamento de comando estratégico de los Estados Unidos que al parecer salió y le pasa un niño por ahí escribiendo. Hace mención en que qué tan importante, qué tan peligroso puede llegar a ser este tipo de misiones.
They're in charge of all of our nuclear missiles.
Ellos están a cargo de todos los misiles nucleares. Y un pequeño niño está mandando textos por su cuenta.
Okay, go ahead, Albert. And Albert, please leave us pauses so we can translate.
Oh, okay. Sorry, and I will skip a little so we have more time. SolarWinds attack is one of the biggest attacks that we have seen. And according to Microsoft, about 1,000 hackers were involved in this attack.
El ataque de vientos solares ha sido uno de los más peligrosos en los últimos tiempos.
And that there were over 1,000 hackers involved.
Estuvieron más de 1,000 hackers involucrados.
And this one is close to my home, which was a water treatment plant was hacked, and the hacker tried to increase the sodium hydroxide levels to poison the water.
Esto sucedió muy cerca de donde vive la persona que está transmitiendo. Dice que un hackeo directamente una planta de agua con la intención de alterar el nivel de hidróxido de sodio y envenenar así una gran cantidad de personas.
So what we see is we have information security and we have cybersecurity. We call it cybersecurity because we are now securing our infrastructure.
Hay dos tipos de seguridad, información de seguridad de la información y seguridad cibernética. De esto se trata de la seguridad cibernética, se cuida directamente la infraestructura.
And the interest in cybersecurity is increasing.
El interés en esta seguridad está incrementando. ¿Me puedes ver?
And very short history of cybersecurity.
Una pequeña descripción de la historia de seguridad cibernética.
We have the information security from the Romans who use cryptography, and also in the Second World War, we have the information security. Once again, cryptography. Germans were using the Enigma machine to encrypt their communication.
Durante la Segunda Guerra Mundial, los alemanes usaban sus máquinas Enigma para encriptar su comunicación.
Then Morris worm is our first well-known worm that infected a huge portion of the internet in '88.
Y la Morris worm le llaman al gusano. El gusano infectó, fue de los primeros que tuvo un gran impacto en el año de los 80s.
And the last one is Stuxnet in 2010. This is the first time we have seen a worm is written for a country and a specific device. In this case, the nuclear enrichment facilities in Iran, and this is only for this particular place.
Uno de los en el año 2012 en Stuxnet, que fue de los primeros, un aparato específicamente diseñado para eso, para atacar las Naciones Unidas.
The goal of cybersecurity to achieve confidentiality, integrity, and availability.
Uno de los objetivos de la seguridad cibernética es poder lograr
So confidentiality, availability.
confidencialidad, disponibilidad e integridad.
And depending on the goal, your company, you may focus on confidentiality, like the government, or availability, like the infrastructure, or integrity, like financial services.
Dependiendo de las necesidades, según el ejemplo, el gobierno, por ejemplo, se enfoca en confidencialidad, en algunas empresas en disponibilidad, perdón, y otras tantas en integridad financieras, gracias, en la cuestión de integridad.
So these are the different threats, actors, and events that we see in the recent years.
Estos son los conexiones que hay entre los eventos que han pasado en los años más recientes.
Cyber criminals and hacktivists, hackers, are big threats.
Criminales cibernéticos, que son la gran amenaza.
And they are organized in the recent years, so they worked together in an economy of its own.
Y recientemente se han estado trabajando en grupos, en grupos definidos.
And each type of hacker may have a different motivation.
Y cada tipo de hacker puede tener distintas motivaciones o distintos objetivos.
And mostly financial reasons are the biggest goal of hackers.
En la mayor parte de los casos tienen que ver con la cuestión financiera, con la remuneración económica.
So this is an example of ransomware as a service. So you can go out and get this service as a customer if you want to have an attack. Ransomware as a service.
Este es un tipo como de secuestro cibernético, pero de los sitios de web, sitios de internet.
it is not one hacker, it is multiple hackers, each one doing something different. One of them is getting in, one of them is infecting, and the other one is collecting the payments.
Cada hacker no es un solo hacker, sino un grupo de estos mismos y cada uno tiene tareas específicas desde que abre el romper código, de extraer información, hasta que los protege.
Same information, we see 3 different hacker groups, each one doing something different and giving access to another 4th group of hackers.
Tenemos 3 hackers haciendo cada uno sus tareas, inclusive dando acceso a un segundo grupo de hackers.
And these hackers have their own rating systems and their own customer service, and they work like an organization to keep their reputation up.
Y este tipo de organizaciones tienen hasta distintos tipos de servicios de clientes, distintas formas de servicios disponibles para quien los pague.
So what can we do?
¿Qué se puede hacer?
Organizations can do investigations, preventions, detections, but enforcement is generally in a different area, in a different time.
Hay distintas cosas que se pueden hacer, desde organizar, prevenir, pero hacer que prevalezca cumplir la ley es lo que viene siendo más importante, lo más cuidadoso.
So we have to work together, public and private organizations, to be successful.
Se tiene que trabajar directamente la iniciativa privada y organizaciones públicas para poder tener éxito.
One example is Hive, which is here, Hive ransomware was shut down by FBI and many other countries and organizations. Hi.
Yeah, is there something specific about Hive that makes it different from the other ones?
No, it's just they were able to shut down.
It's just one of the many groups of hackers.
Esto es de uno de los grupos de hackers que fueron detenidos por el FBI con un trabajo conjunto.
Okay. And insurance is becoming a problem because insurance companies consider ransomware as an act of war and don't want to pay out to the victims.
Las compañías de seguros se están contemplando este secuestro virtual de las páginas como un acto de guerra, no lo integran dentro de sus pólizas.
Any questions so far before I move on to artificial intelligence?
¿Alguna duda hasta este punto antes de continuar en inteligencia artificial? What type of prevention
You might be covering this later, but the question is about what type of prevention is in place to try to stop these hackers?
Oh, it is tough to stop the hackers, but what we are trying to do is finding them, detecting them earlier.
Es difícil de detenerlos, pero lo que se está buscando hacer es encontrarlos y detectarlos tempranamente.
And companies change their focus from investing in protection to investing in detection and response.
Las empresas están cambiando sus inversiones de protección a detección.
Can I move on or other questions?
Good question.
¿Alguna otra pregunta?
No, please continue.
So briefly, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. Artificial intelligence is an old field. and machine learning is a subfield inside AI.
Hablando de inteligencia artificial, inteligencia artificial sería la primaria, habilidad primaria, y la aprendizaje a través de máquinas o de equipo, que es la actividad más actividad de inteligencia artificial.
And when we say artificial intelligence, generally we mean machine learning.
Regularmente cuando decimos inteligencia artificial pensamos en equipamiento máquina.
Machine learning is also very similar to statistics and statistical learning.
El aprendizaje con aparatos es muy similar al aprendizaje con estadística.
But in most of the time, we call it artificial intelligence to make it a little bit more interesting.
Pero la mayor parte del tiempo le llamamos inteligencia artificial para hacerlo un poco más, para decorarlo, hacerlo más interesante.
Face recognition is one application.
Reconocimiento de voz es una aplicación.
This machine recognizes your face and will not give you paper towel if you already took one.
Esta máquina reconoce tu cara y no te dará papel de baño más de una vez y ya lo tomaste.
But recently, a lawyer wanted to get into this building, Radio City Hall, but face recognition recognized her and denied her access.
Pero el software de reconocimiento de voz, perdón, de reconocimiento facial la identificó y no le permitió el acceso.
Because the lawyer was working against the company who owned the Radio City Hall, and she was,
el abogado estaba trabajando en contra de la empresa que son los propietarios de Radio City Hall.
so she was denied service because of who she is and where she works.
Le negaron la entrada por quién es y dónde trabaja.
So face recognition can be dangerous,
Reconocimiento facial puede ser peligroso,
but we have to be careful with these applications taking our face prints and voice prints as well.
tenemos que tener cuidado con estas aplicaciones que toman nuestras caras, nuestras huellas digitales de manera muy simple.
This is a good example of using image recognition for good.
Este es un ejemplo de cómo usar de buena manera el reconocimiento de imágenes.
Human trafficking victims are photographed in hotel rooms mostly. Human trafficking victims.
Okay, give me a moment to help the transition. So we see it here, it's like the human trafficking. They can find out. AI can tell you that was
Es una base de datos que se tiene en contra del tráfico de personas, en donde a través de los reconocimientos de imágenes, los hoteles tienen un cierto grupo de identificación para saber si esa persona pues, no debería estar ahí dentro de esa situación y así reportarlo a las autoridades correspondientes.
Did we do this slide?
Yes.
Okay. Two applications of AI, offensive and defensive.
Dos tipos de inteligencia artificial, ofensiva y defensiva.
Offensive applications are the ones hackers use.
Aplicaciones ofensivas son las que utilizan los hackers.
They can create more effective attacks, smarter malware.
Pueden hacer ataques más inteligentes.
They can create these fake accounts, bots, to do misinformation more effectively.
Pueden crear bots con falsos datos, con cuentas falsas, y así lograr desinformar.
Defensively, we can use AI to prevent unknown attacks.
Defensivamente podemos usar inteligencia artificial para prevenir ataques desconocidos.
We can detect attacks quicker
Podemos detectar los ataques más rápidamente
and cheaper.
y con menos costo.
We have to focus on a low complexity, high benefit type of artificial intelligence. The blue area.
Un nivel bajo de complejidad, pero alto de altos beneficios.
This is one example of behavior analytics.
Este es un ejemplo del análisis de comportamiento.
And it looks at the files and the users and what they do with the files.
Analiza los usuarios y los archivos y qué hacen con esos archivos.
And then predicts if somebody misuses a file.
Y predice si alguien va a actuar de manera incorrecta ese archivo.
This is a malware detection, which with artificial intelligence faster.
Esta detección de malware con inteligencia artificial es más rápido.
Because it only looks at the middle where there is some sort of question mark.
Porque solo se enfoca en la parte central, en donde hay dudas.
One challenge of artificial intelligence is explainability.
Uno de los retos en la inteligencia artificial es la explainabilidad, que sea claro.
When the AI gives us a warning, we have to be able to explain it.
La inteligencia artificial nos da un aviso que tenemos que ser capaces de explicar.
Otherwise, compliance and audits will not accept our security.
De otra forma, no pueden accesar, no será compatible para accesar, no harán cumplimiento para accesar.
Another one is attacks to the AI itself.
Otro tipo de ataque es el que directamente es a la inteligencia artificial.
On the left, the attack happens to the most important pixel of a picture.
En la parte izquierda, el ataque sucede en la parte más importante de la imagen, el pixel más importante de la imagen.
And the machine thinks that this is a paper towel instead of a bassinet.
Just by attacking a couple of people. When you ask the computer equally thinks that it's a paper towel as it thinks that it's a baby.
Es decir, de la manera que funciona este ataque, que con solo afectar un par de píxeles, la máquina puede pensar que en lugar de ser un bebé es una servilleta.
And on the right, similar attacks can happen and change the traffic signs for our self-driving cars.
Y del lado derecho, las señales de tráfico pueden ser también hackeadas y afectadas.
Then I have 3 things for the future, and that is the last part. Quantum computing is something everybody is working on. Quantum computing.
How would you explain quantum computing?
Like quantum mechanics. You know, you are here, but you're not here at the same time. And this will attack our encryption, and it will break our existing communication security. Virtual reality is another interesting one.
Realidad virtual es otro tipo de muy interesante. Inteligencia artificial.
In this attack, you can be in the room but invisible to the others,
En este ambiente puedes estar en el cuarto, pero virtualmente no te ven los demás.
and you can listen in confidential information.
Puedes escuchar de manera confidencial, cosas confidenciales.
And last one is cyberspace security.
La seguridad en el ciberespacio.
And this involves satellites and any other equipment that goes up to space.
Esto involucra satélites y cualquier otro equipo que sale en el espacio.
There are conferences, and Space Force in the US is hiring, and this is an interesting future area.
Para empresas en Estados Unidos, pues, obviamente es un mercado muy amplio en el futuro.
So this is it for me.
Gracias.
No solo por mi parte.
But what's the most common way for a business to protect itself from cyber attacks?
To use a best practice and to make sure that they are not vulnerable to random attacks.
Lo menos vulnerable posible a ataques variados.
Because there are targeted attacks and random attacks.
Pues hay ataques específicos y ataques generales.
If we have vulnerabilities that is known to everybody, then we will be attacked by a random hacker.
Si tienes vulnerabilidades que son conocidas por cualquier persona, pues eres vulnerable a cualquier hacker.
And where do you see the future? Are we going to, in a sense, can we beat the hackers? Can we beat that?
¿Cómo ves el futuro? ¿Crees que podemos ganarle a los hackers?
It is challenging to beat the hackers, but if we work together, public and private and individuals,
De manera que el sector público y privado y individual también.
then we can increase our resilience to any hacks.
Podemos incrementar nuestra resiliencia a cualquier tipo de acción.
Do you know the law and the cyber criminality? Is it enough? Is it well regulated, or it's a threat or something that they need to work on?
Where do is the law keeping up with cyber attacks and all the the dark web and all of these different things, or are the hackers always seem to be one step ahead?
Very good question. Law is not keeping up, and when we have regulations, it is generally for everyone, and therefore it is not very good controls for us.
La pregunta es si las leyes están manteniéndose al día con este tipo de ataques, y la respuesta es que en realidad no es complicado mantener el paso, sobre todo por el manejo global mundial que se hace de esto.
And it is very hard for us to catch the hackers, or if we catch them, it is sometimes impossible to bring them to justice because they're in a different country.
Es muy difícil de atraparlos, y si se da el caso de atraparlos, complicado traerlos a justicia porque están en otros países.
So the cost of crime is very low for the hackers.
el costo para el crimen es muy bajo, el costo de pérdidas para el crimen de este tipo es muy bajo.
Now we work for the university.
He works for the government.
Well, not for the university, but. Alberto, could you give a little background? The question was essentially asking if you work for the government, and I said that, well, you work for the University of Tampa right now. But.
Right. I did not work for the government. I have been a researcher and a teacher for 20 years on cybersecurity.
No, no trabajo en el gobierno, he sido investigador y profesor por más de 6 años en seguridad cibernética.
And Albert, is the artificial intelligence also impacting world politics in any way?
The possibly with misinformation, disinformation, deep fakes, all of that can be part of artificial intelligence, and we are starting to see how hackers use it, but not so much at the moment.
De momento no tanto, ya empiezan a haber desinformación y por ahí falsos testimonios, pero de momento todavía no tiene un impacto de manera primordial como la pregunta.
What is the challenge internationally to can not only prevent but punish cyber criminality?
¿Cuál sería uno de los retos a nivel internacional para no solo detectar, sino castigar este tipo de crímenes?
Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
What is big challenge to not only prevent but punish cyber criminality, cyber criminals? Because as you said, it's something international. Someone in Mexico, someone in Japan can be hacking someone in Mexico or the other way around. So what is the big challenge?
The challenge is we cannot identify them, and it is good hackers can disguise themselves and be unseen to us.
Muy fácil para ellos disfrazarse y empacar en detectar quiénes son y dónde están.
And interesting point is these criminals are experts in what they do.
Y algo muy importante mencionar es que estos criminales son unos expertos en eso.
So unlike many other crimes where you don't necessarily need education or skills, this is a very specialized area. Psychology of hackers are focused and determined, and they want to break into your system.
La psicología de un hacker es que son enfocados, son determinantes y quieren entrar en el sistema.
And because there are a lot of vulnerabilities, one day they are successful.
Y como hay muchas vulnerabilidades, tarde que temprano van a lograr tener éxito.
The odds are against us because we have to be secure every day, and hackers need to be successful only one time.
Las probabilidades están en nuestra contra porque nosotros tenemos que estar cuidándonos permanentemente mientras con ellos, con que lo logren una vez, ya tuvieron éxito.
So what are the measures that you recommend for us to be safe against them?
¿Cuáles serían algunas de las medidas que nos recomendarías para estar bien protegidos de ellos?
As an individual, we don't have to worry that much
Como persona no tiene que variar tanto,
because hackers are not after us individually, but they're after the companies that we use, like our banks and our social media companies.
y los hackers no están detrás de ti y de tus cuentas, sino más que nada de las empresas que tú usas como bancos y demás.
We have to do our best to have safe environments. Do not click on any unknown emails, change our passwords.
Tenemos que asegurarnos de tener un ambiente seguro, de no hacer no dar clic en páginas que no conocemos y links que tampoco que son desconocidos.
But when our banks are hacked, there is very little that we can do as a consumer.
Pero si nuestros bancos son hackeados, hay muy poco que podamos hacer nosotros de la perspectiva de
It sounds like when you, like for security, that's like I tell my students in Crim 101, like lock your door, right? You have to do simple things yourself to protect yourself, right? And same with the computer, right? Passwords, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
All right, Isla, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
And I have a special spot in my luggage for your bottle of tequila.
No, you don't worry about it. Thank you.
Gracias, my friend. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Ustedes pregunten porque pues es la forma en que se da esta interacción. Que recess, a break?
Yeah, take a break, pause.
Okay. You can take a perdón, podemos sí, yo sé. Claro, claro. No, pero muy bien, claro, claro.
Doctora, entonces esta conferencia va a terminar después de las 5.
Pues bueno, ya terminó antes. Sí, no, todo bien, gracias.
Ah, ok. Entonces pongo de una vez el código de esta.
De las 5.
Ah, ok. Yo pensé, como dijo que un receso, pensé que todavía me faltaba.
No, o sea, porque digo un proceso del ciclo, todo el ciclo de conferencias.
Ah, ok. Entonces para poner.
Ah, es que está aquí que.
Para poner el código, si ya se acabó la conferencia, pues hay que poner.
Ah, sí, a ver, ¿cómo? Pero ahorita yo creo que me vinieron
Pues bueno, para que no quede pues los que sea.
Ajá. Y necesito aquí bajar una, ya, ahí puedo.
Nada más que la tomen, ahorita unos 5 minutos. ¿Sí?
Sí. Le iba a decir, yo nada más necesito.
Ahora, ¿va a haber algún tipo de clases? Como veo que están apuntados a la lista.
Sí,
Yo me he apuntado.
la idea es ayudarles.
Sí.
Creo que están por instituciones, pero si no conocen,
el efecto de CSI.
Go to the next slide. And so it's just an idea of how popular it is. Wherever you go, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, there's always a CSI show somewhere.
Y para que se den una idea, a donde tú vayas 24 horas al día, 7 días a la semana, 7 días a la semana,
And,
habrá un programa de CSI.
and the CSI Miami, CSI Las Vegas, CSI. Okay. Serio. Is that in Colombia, they have 2 channels, nothing but CSI.
Los canales en Colombia únicamente transmiten series de CSI.
And it's not just the United States, there is a German version.
Hay una versión alemana también,
Translated virtually means just collecting the evidence.
que se traduce nada más recogiendo la evidencia.
Forense, the coroner, this is obviously Canada.
Al igual en
Next one.
Yeah, see, next one, please. And of course, even Mexico too. You know what I'm talking about, right? Well, and especially for police, that you certainly probably have similar experiences where people think their job every day, bank robberies, right, gunfights, high-speed chases.
Precisamente para los oficiales también de policía, la gente piensa que todos los días son robos de banco, persecuciones.
But in reality, no lo está haciendo bien.
Pero en realidad es otra.
It's a normal life. A number of friends who are CSI, they love the CSI show because of how it's wrong.
Es una relación con la desinformación que la discusión.
And also super popular in the culture. This is just one. This is a CSI experience in Las Vegas. If you go to Las Vegas, you don't want to see a show. You go in and they have various scenes set up. You go through and try to collect the evidence.
Es un lugar en Las Vegas donde puedes tener una experiencia personalizada y sana. Es el grado de popularidad que ha llegado esta serie.
Now, this is not only an exhibit for purely for entertainment.
Esto no es netamente para
This is actually a scientific setup. It's the Museo de Ciencia y Investigación. Very serious. I mean,
es una forma seria, es una exhibición seria,
but they want people to come.
pero quiere que la gente vaya.
It's not.
Donde ponen
It's not in dinosaurs. Next one, please. And of course, all kinds of merchandise. I think the amount is well over $100 million.
sobre
T-shirts, hats.
billones de dólares.
That's a better. Funny. Next, please. And we do it at town. Our students love CSI. It's one of the more popular programs we have, a forensics program.
Los alumnos en la Universidad de Tampa les encanta, tienen un programa forense de forense y les llama mucho la atención hacer.
And this is from a program we did last year. We had an International CSI Day, and we had a speaker from Canada, of course, from the United States, and also, what's the senior from Mexico? The CSI from RS. No, okay, just that we have speakers from other.
Tuvieron un evento el año pasado donde un CSI internacional, tuvieron expositores de Canadá, de Estados Unidos y de México.
So, and this is what I talked about earlier, and that's essentially this is the lawyer, this is the prosecutor, okay, and he's saying you have eyewitnesses, you have motive, okay, and the client, the criminal, pled guilty. But the jury is like, well, that's not enough. Where's the DNA?
Parece que tenemos 10 testigos y tenemos el motivo. Mi cliente aceptó, es culpable. El jurado dice, ¿en dónde está el DNA?
And so these are the basics of it, okay? Generally, we talk about jurors. I know
Jurados,
are not normally
miembros del
Mexico,
jurado.
but so I know there are jurors in Mexico now, but you're going to see them more and more. You guys know that kind of thing's coming. And I would say you should be prepared because as police officers, those securing crime scene, be ready that at some point, some lawyer has an attorney going to ask them a question. And you're going to find that probably not always, but you will come across people who want
Un programa de jurados públicos que tenemos en Estados Unidos, en el que involucran a personas de cualquier lado, de cualquier lugar, en un punto que tienen que ser parte del jurado. Ellos están impactados directamente por los puntos que realizan en otros países.
And it's not limited to jurors, also judges, prosecutors, and defense attorneys also.
No solamente a los miembros del jurado, sino también a los jurados, a los jueces, y en general a los participantes.
And so they want to see more evidence. They want to see more. And I would also argue not just more evidence, but it has to be science.
Cada vez piden ver más evidencia, no solo evidencia, sino evidencia científica.
And one of the things from this morning, the first presentation we had, one of the CSI texts from the United States said is how the jury likes to see the projection of the shirt, the blood.
Y de la presentación que tuvimos en el medio de hoy, se explicó cómo el jurado, o el mismo juez le gustaría ver la muestra de sangre, la muestra de DNA.
Yeah, they expect it. The idea is that people in the courtroom, judges, prosecutors, and they expect it. They want to see, you know.
Hoy en día tienen que verse, se da por hecho que se van a presentar evidencias de este tipo.
They will ask,
Y van a pedirlas en donde
why
sea.
didn't you get that evidence? Why didn't you get that? Yeah,
Si no la hay, ¿por qué no la pones? ¿Por qué no la sacas?
even though they need to know evidence.
Que quizá no la haya habido.
And so, even the professionals in the court, the judges are changing their behavior to at least try to accommodate at minimum what they think is happening.
Inclusive los jueces están tratando de también encontrar un intermedio de este impacto del efecto visual.
So this is just a sample of what we did. We did some research to try to find out, are people really swayed?
Esto es alguno de los investigaciones que hemos hecho para poder determinar un poco el efecto del impacto que tienen.
And so we have, we work with our students, those students want to work with you guys later, right? We're doing CSI next. And so we had our students to take the survey, but also then ask their friends, ask their parents, ask their grandparents, whoever we could get.
Dijimos que los alumnos tomaran el cuestionario y aparte se los hicieran a sus papás, a sus amigos, a sus primos, a sus amigos.
So we did with a student who's from Colombia and a student from England, so we were able to get an international.
Ahora podemos, como tenemos información de Colombia, de Inglaterra, podemos tener nuestras internacionales.
So the result. That
Resultados.
there's definitely a stronger belief in science, okay, and forensics than there is in any other type of.
Hay una creencia más alta ahora en ciencia y forense que lo que cualquier otro tipo de explicación.
And while jurors particularly expect more evidence, it's also tied to how serious is the crime. So, for example, they don't need DNA in a shoplifting, but they want DNA in a house.
Y depende también mucho del tipo de delito que se haya cometido. Obviamente no necesitan DNA en un robo, pero sí necesitan más evidencia de poquito en el cine.
And so they don't need forensics, but they do want it.
No necesitan pruebas forenses, pero sí las tienen.
And these are just a variable at this side.
Son algunas de las variables.
Explain. You don't want to explain?
So here, we asked, what was the important type of evidence, the testimonies, what did the people take in the survey? what did they think was important? So I only put up important, and I didn't include any of the responses that were negative or where they weren't sure.
Más que nada considero las opiniones que digan que consideran importantes, no tanto opiniones negativas. ¿Cuál era lo que consideraban importantes?
And I think this is significant because people, when you look at that people buy the eyewitness testimony, people like it, they accept it, they think it's very valuable. Ironically enough, eyewitness testimony is some of the worst testimony.
Me parece que están muy satisfechos con los testimonios populares, aunque irónicamente tienden a ser los menos eficaces.
So it doesn't really see, it doesn't seem, certainly in a shooting, a homicide, where the gun was involved, it certainly doesn't seem anyway, to be unreasonable that they would expect that.
Entonces, la red balística, pues, el tener este tipo de evidencia racional, no tomarlo en cuenta.
And a couple of more, so obviously, how important DNA, you can see, very, very important type of evidence.
Consideran el DNA como es muy importante.
Fingerprints as well.
Las huellas digitales.
And also hair or fibers. The scenario that if they get a hair, it shouldn't sit there.
Yes.
Yes. So, and then we ask people, do they watch CSI?
Luego también se debe el programa de Sesión.
And so about half watch CSI. You watch CSI.
Aproximadamente la mitad del mismo.
It's about 40% blown, and then the others just were not sure.
40% no, y el otro 10% no estaba seguro.
And on average, about 8 surgeries, about 4 hours. So unlike my mother, you're not watching CSI. And so this is asking specifically, given the type of crime, do they need certain type of evidence? Homicide, 99%. Violation of evidence, like about 98%. And I think it's significant because the people who, when they look at this, these are kinds of crimes would they expect there to be like DNA, semen sample, things that can be tested. Thirdly, you can see a little less of the expectation there for just an FYI, for in the event in the United States, if your house is burglarized, the cops are going to come, they're going to test the fingerprints. If it's in progress, they will send them police, but if not, they send them a form in the mail. They don't give you the powder. I don't have some arson.
Quemar árbol, quemar,
Setting something on fire.
quemar
It's like to burn a house down. To set a house on fire or a car to destroy. This is armed robbery, so robbery with a weapon.
robo armado.
And auto theft. So it's slightly less expectation, as like if we move away from the serious. And also, I think people realize if you are a victim of armed robbery, what DNA, what evidence is going to be there.
Yes.
That's significant ideas about the system, okay? Do they think science is error free? Evidence, okay, collected by the police is precise. And then evidence, okay, I apologize. Yeah, so I had the wrong, evidence. I'm sorry, I had the wrong. See where there's there's faith, but it's not a particularly high faith necessarily in what evidence is.
El interés, pero obviamente no es muy alto.
See, evidence is forensic evidence that the past. It's very high, but the expectation if people are watching these programs, I would suggest it should be higher.
La expectativa de las personas al ver estos programas es insana,
Because the whole point of the CSI is
porque todo el punto
the science will always solve the crime,
de estos programas es que la ciencia siempre va a resolver el crimen,
and in only 30 minutes.
y en menos de 30 minutos.
Criminals always leave behind evidence.
Criminales siempre ven.
People believe so. And they may, they oftentimes do, but as I mentioned,
Y que es así, que siempre lo hacen,
police aren't coming to your house to take you.
pero la policía no va a llegar a tomar la
Or if your car is stolen, they're not going to the car, looking for hair fibers, nothing, those types of things. And then last, okay, the best way is all crime is but very high. But I think if people were really that influenced by the show, I think that should be 95%.
Pero si en realidad la gente fuera muy influenciada por el show, debería ser más arriba, un 99%.
So the question is, does that CSI affect this? And so our answer based on our research and the other research that's been
La
done
respuesta basada en nuestra investigación y en otras investigaciones que
in
están
Australia,
por
Germany,
Australia, por
France, and other countries, is that there really isn't. So we know that people are more sophisticated, I think, than they get credit.
la gente son más sofisticadas,
And so
la gente de igual,
they can know about science, they can know about
pueden
DNA,
saber de ciencia, pueden
they
saber
can know about all
de
these things, not just because they watch
no nada más porque ven
the CSI program. And so as we are more sophisticated, we're more connected,
sofisticados,
with access to the internet,
ahora con más acceso a internet,
and technology in general, we have a higher expectation
tenemos una expectativa avanzada.
for science. And then in the program.
Y eso incluye también las tablas.
Next slide, please. So, why is it important also not just for your professional, but I use corporate actors, but certainly the police here.
Incluso en los actores de deporte, pero igual puede tener oficiales de policía, abogados,
Because they still have to be prepared.
porque tienen que estar preparados.
That kind of thing does seep into the program.
Ese tipo de situaciones inevitablemente llegan
And there's
a los
some, the other CSI research also shows that has asked, surveyed judges, prosecutors, and
Es
defendants.
lo que dice la investigación que se hace por los jueces y jurados.
They believe in it more than the general public.
Ellos creen más en eso, más que el público en general.
So they want it as much as anybody who watches.
Así que ellos se quieren quieren ser tal cual como la gente común.
And I think particularly, thankfully, we have professional justice professionals here. This is going to apply. to them.
Pues no pueden ver los profesionales implicados.
There's nothing a defense attorney likes more
No hay nada que hacen.
than to be able to ask me, why didn't you pick up that, that video, the Coca-Cola?
¿Por qué agarraste esa?
Versus a photo. Why didn't you pick up that shirt?
¿Por qué no levantaste la playera?
And that is what the society will tell you. That's when they go to court. That is always. It's always. part of what they see, and they have to be ready to explain it to the jury.
Es parte de lo que ven, tienen que estar preparados para explicar.
Or the civil suits in the judge. We're just discussing, right? There really isn't any, hey, it's really just a form of exaggeration, what is going on, ultimately. And I would also argue, what is wrong with more evidence?
¿Qué tiene de malo? Que hay más evidencia.
For example, in Florida, we still have the death penalty.
En Florida todavía tenemos la pena de muerte.
If we're going to sentence someone to death,
Si vamos a mandar a alguien al cine, lo van a abrir.
what's wrong with wanting more evidence?
¿Qué tiene de malo que pidamos más evidencia?
I want to see it. I want fingerprints. I want that bullet matched that was found on the body matched to the gun.
El casquillo sea el mismo que consideran pistola.
So it doesn't seem not unrealistic.
No parece tan fuera de la realidad.
Also, other things we should keep in mind that I think this will happen in Mexico. I think in the United States, almost no cases even go.
Y esto es muy importante mencionarlo porque creo que en México es un poco más alto. Muchos casos en Estados Unidos ni siquiera llegan a juicio.
And when they do, when I'm arrested today, for example, in the United States, and
También hay arrestan de Estados Unidos.
get DNA and it's going off to the lab, these things are happening.
También hay todo.
My case we will settle my case
Podemos arreglar el caso
well before the evidence is ever processed.
mucho antes de que se procese la evidencia.
In some cases, there are literally 30-year backlogs
En algunos casos hay hasta 30 años
for evidence.
de evidencia.
There's also when the text collect evidence. We were talking this morning that the one case, she said they picked up 600 pieces of evidence.
Pero hablamos en mayoría del caso que le cogieron más de 600 evidencias de sangre.
The crime lab doesn't process all this information.
El laboratorio no iba a procesar toda esa evidencia.
The crime lab will tell the CSIs that was what 5 and 1 us.
Es lo que quiere que busquemos.
So lastly, again, in the United States, because we argue most of our cases,
La mayoría de los casos en Estados Unidos se hacen hay un convenio.
only 5% you can make it. So you can't have a CSI effect in a trial when we have hardly any trial.
Es muy difícil que tengas un efecto CSI en un juicio cuando tienes tan pocos juicios.
And this is how most, if you go to France, they do their cases, they don't, very few will actually go.
Un poco de pues,
So why are there so many, I mean, why are they so popular, the CSI show?
porque entonces son tan populares.
Shannon, popularity of. Yeah. The show, police shows are popular too. If you go, in the States, right, you have the top 10 shows.
Y todos los Estados Unidos
It's going to be Red Hot,
hacen
police, or medical.
por eso
Pretty much, there are no professors, there are no laws.
no hay
Maybe, oh, and then you have some lawyer shows. Right?
hay algunos
Congratulations.
pero
You can find those. The actors are gorgeous, right? The beds are great, right? Cool stuff. Even if it doesn't, right? So, yeah. Good stuff. You watch CSI, anybody?
donde levante la mano que decide saber.
You guys also watch pop shows, right?
Siguen el tipo de show de televisión.
Like it because it's so raw, right? It's so
Pero no es
big.
que son antes de la reunión.
Questions?
¿Preguntas? ¿Tienen preguntas?
Preguntas.
No. We can talk. I don't need to talk. We'll get Shannon to get set up.
It's 5:40.
Oh, well, since there aren't any questions, I'm going to ask a question.
Yes,
We're coming back,
No hay dudas, y podría ser que
we're coming back next year. At this time. And we're gonna do bigger. So I'm hoping everybody will participate.
Tell them about the sign of the crime scene that you do.
Oh, that, do you want me to show the video?
Yes.
Oh, well, here, go,
El profesor Tony nos mostrará un video de la actividad el año pasado con sus estudiantes en la Universidad de Tampa, a donde invitó a gente precisamente de CSI en Florida, y los estudiantes estuvieron muy participativos y aprendieron mucho de la experiencia.
oh, I can, yeah, it's going kind of fast, but.
What do you want?
You just stop, you can stop it there.
Stop?
Stop right there, stop, yeah, right there. Just say pause, pause. Ah, okay. Yeah, this is the DLA CSI International. And we're very, very fortunate, that's why I asked. Hoping for that, this week, because this is our local theory. That's, one ex-alumna that, Danielle Dixon, Danielle is a CSI tech, without, you can see with the two CSI there. And this is my friend Leslie. Leslie was the director of the crime lab in Florida. She works in big cases, probably working in Mexico, in the United States. And so we're doing this in COVID, but we set up crime scenes outside by the river. We have a beautiful camp. We set up scenarios and we ask students to go in and they have to solve it.
Perseus,
Also, I would lower the volume.
the challenges for sure, but without a challenge, comes
Sorry, go
not
ahead.
to So by embracing technology, reaching out to the community, plus stepping out of our comfort zones. First, we still utilize Start and Shield, and even beyond the border. We offer the universities
Let it go, no, let it go, it's buffering.
Tampa's first ever International Forensics Day. What forensics day like to be? International.
Try to get us, you stop there,
Things that we know.
hold on. So I'll just, and so, and that's another one of the big three, we had three on the. And we had yellow tape everywhere. And we're right on the river, so if people are going by on their boats, they're stopping to see what all the dead bodies. But we also have 3 world-class speakers. With Eric Kimberly from the University of South Florida, who works a lot with the United Nations, including Kosovo. And also Senor Cardenas, he is from Juarez.
También fue invitado como criminólogo de Ciudad Juárez, y él fíjense, lo invitaron a un mexicano allá al evento que él organizó en Tampa, y él lo que hace, tiene una técnica para el tejido de una persona muerta, lo puede llegar a, no revivir, pero puede llegar a reconstruir el cuerpo, de tal manera de que cuerpos que ustedes ven y ya todos desconocidos, todos pues sí, que ya no tienen ni rostro, desfigurados, etcétera. Este señor mexicano, orgullosamente mexicano, los puede llegar a recuperar. Y lo que estaban diciendo en la mañana, pudo recuperar cicatrices, pudo recuperar un tatuaje con el sistema que él tiene y los líquidos que él emplea. Entonces, y en México, en nuestro México con tantos desaparecidos, creo que la técnica de él, que la enseñaron allá en Tampa, pues es algo maravilloso. Fue un invitado del profesor allá en Tampa, entonces pues, es digno de decir.
And there was one more, I have to show her. Right in the so.
How, como,
I think in the class. I have what?
I think that just motivates me before. You're extremely important to keep funding, university board fellows, their flexibility and purpose and change our plans and spend our time. This allows us to coordinate multiple events, but also to fund the purchase of necessary materials. We also receive support from other university offices, including everything from bottled water to t-shirts, to protective masks, and hand sanitizer. In the end, it was really a team effort.
And it's work we couldn't have done without our students, and there was no way we were going to do that with you.
And now we opened up the new window for it.
And that's not what
Not only will we be able to get world-class academics from Canada and Mexico for presentation, technology also allowed us to use their expertise to help create and oversee our interactive displays in real time, along with our amazing local contacts who have been so supportive in the past. It was inspiring to see our students interacting with local CSI professionals like Daniel Dixon, Anisha Kaufman, Caitlin Hall, and Leslie Nixon in the morning, and listening to and discussing trends, specialists and researchers thousands of miles in time ago.
They're not, unfortunately, there was one more presenter from Canada. And it might show the clip, I don't know if it's not. And her specialty was bugs.
Especialista de amenaza, ella se uno de sus áreas de especialidades en tech.
And she, there was a woman victim of murder in Nevada. And what she found was by when they found the body, the woman who was accused couldn't have done it because she had counted the number of life cycles of the flies and the worms, and then the woman couldn't have been there. So she was looking at life in prison. But was released.
Local news side.
That's what Canada's really local.
For a lot of experts shall be able to run our program. How do you turn a healthy student into a riding horse? Just ask her. After a morning of getting your hands dirty with some very effective. With using students in person and hundreds of others online from all over the US. Or speaker with Dr.
That's not what people do. Trying to talk.
No, that's okay. That silence will travel.
Is it pausing again?
Forensic and
Well, we don't have to watch the rest of it.
forensic. What was this about?
She's saying, she's a forensic anthropology. And the line, have a science will travel, there's an old phrase like, I have something will travel, remember to go anytime. And that's what she does. She's on call, basically, go to post go or anywhere.
We know it wanted to be easy, but we weren't going to let it stop us. There were challenges for sure.
I think we can just give it. So that's what we do, and we'd like to do that.
¿Preguntas? Una pregunta. I do have a question.
You want more?
One question. No, I have a question.
Okay.
So how are criminology schools educating the real forensic, I mean, not the CSI, but the real forensic?
Well, they go to medical school.
In medical school,
Usually they go to medical school.
but in criminology?
Well, well, there's two types. Okay. This is about the education of CSI.
Las escuelas están transmitiendo una enseñanza verdadera, un poco más apegada a este efecto de CSI.
So a CSI, so someone who actually collects the evidence, like, you know.
CSI que en realidad no lo que hace es colectar evidencia.
Well, generally just do that. But it could be,
Se requiere una licenciatura.
but normally they have a background in criminal justice.
Pero normalmente, aunque sea una licenciatura, porque tal vez tienen antecedentes en
to go to the lab, process the info,
para trabajar en el laboratorio, para procesar la información,
generally a master's degree
una maestría,
in microbiology, biology, chemistry.
Una pregunta.
Sí, creo que ya me la contestó antes
No,
de
pero-
hacerla. Era cómo se relacionan las diferentes profesiones, los diferentes servidores públicos, quizás de policía, con los investigadores criminales y esto que presenta Ciencia. ¿Cómo están relacionados y en qué momento pasan al fiscal para que se haga una acusación?
The relationship between the professionals and the criminology,
¿Cómo se relacionan las diferentes
different,
profesiones?
different professionals for,
The relationship.
yes, I mean, how they cooperate in the same crime investigation, you know?
Oh, like the police, the CSIs and the. Yeah, generally, it all starts with the police.
pero siempre iniciando con la atención,
First one's on the scene,
con los primeros en el
they secure the crime
y
scene,
les aseguran el perímetro,
then they call the CSI.
después llaman al equipo de investigación,
Then the CSIs come over, and then once they arrive,
una vez que llegan allí,
it's no longer PC,
ya no le ponen
it's now the forensics.
y lo preparan de forense.
The police will sort of protect it,
La policía lo protege,
but everything that happens at that point
pero
on.
ya todo lo que se hace de ahí en adelante es responsabilidad de forense.
That what?
Yeah.
Then they process some of the information.
Después de esa investigación,
And we've seen technology also, so we get arrested in the United States, when they'll take you to jail, and take your photo, and it goes into an active database. And it won't just, it won't necessarily be you, but find us a photo that come up.
Pero 4 o 5 fotos de
That's pretty much what they do. Everything else goes to the state lab.
todo lo demás va al laboratorio.
Una pregunta.
La pregunta es si la acusación es solo profesor, ¿cómo es que la tecnología
¿De él? Él es solamente profesor. Él es profesor.
digo, la pregunta es esta, porque cuando me enseñan, es un padre con el ámbito de la práctica,
Ok.
entonces, el forense,
Sí. Por eso él tiene ese tipo de él inventa a los CSI para que puedan enseñar. O sea, nosotros siempre vamos a tener invitados de la realidad que trabajan en el área, pues para enriquecer a nuestra historia. Pero es que es un CSI que no sabe de cómo enseñar, que no sabe, no es suficiente. Y un profesor tiene que enriquecerse con ellos. Entonces, como que tenemos que trabajar en conjunto. Así es, así es. ¿Sí? ¿Preguntó? ¿Sí? Sí.
Pues una vez que tienen ya los investigadores, ¿cómo es? Hay una cadena de custodia, ¿cómo los ponen en atención? ¿A quién se los ponen en atención?
He wanted to know about the chain of custody. When they have big pieces of evidence, what do they do?
Oh, yeah, that's an important, very, very important part. Once they come to the crime scene, everything is involved in them. And they pick everything up, they seal everything, they put everything in fingers, and everything gets. So when it goes back to the principal, it's their facility, it's not allowed to say they send out here. Everything's been sealed in. It can't be opened without somebody knowing. And everybody signed along the way. Because that is an issue if there's a problem with the chain of custody, that evidence gets thrown out. Gracias.
Juez está presente, puede hacer la entrega de su reconocimiento. La Facultad de Derecho, abogado, de la Universidad de doctor de la Universidad de Tampa en Florida, con su participación en el Centro de Conferencia, Ciberseguridad, el programa de contemporáneas y la percepción ciudadana de la escena del trading. Siempre autónoma por parte del CADE y firma el licenciado director Germán Pedrosa Gaita. Y él ayudó también con los contactos de CSI. Y vamos a continuar con la última conferencia del día de hoy. ¿Salen? Bien.
This is the highlight.
Bueno, pero esta tiene mucha relación con la primera, que aquí la doctora va a hablar de esa tecnología que ella desarrolló, ella enseña cómo utilizar la tecnología en diferentes áreas, no solamente para la investigación, sino también para vender, etcétera. Y es inclusive más barata que el aparato que ustedes vieron en la mañana de Ciencia. Entonces, pero tiene unas aplicaciones, una utilización o un uso muy importante para la investigación de la policía. Entonces, de hecho, ya está mostrando ese aparato. Pero tiene gran alcance y es muy útil.
No, I'm almost.
Vamos a aquí, va a tomar 3 minutitos porque tiene que bajar algo la.
Don't know. Who cares, Justine and pages. It's not the link. I've got anything else, I just need to.
Nuestra cuarta y última conferencia del día de hoy está a cargo de la doctora Shannon Kuhlman. Ella trabajó hasta la semana pasada en la Universidad de Bibliotecas y es coordinadora del programa y especialista en la capacitación del Centro de Estudiantes Militares. Y el tema es realidad virtual, cómo mejorar la investigación y el procedimiento criminal.
Hola. I know what you're thinking. Another person's going to talk at us for an hour. Luckily, I'm incredibly entertaining and I have cool technology. Hopefully, it'll be good. I just like to have fun, so if my comedy doesn't translate well, I'm apologizing now. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about a technology called immersive virtual reality. Has anybody ever heard of virtual reality? All right, anybody ever heard of Facebook?
Facebook.
Which then turned into Meta. And then they came out with like Beat Saber. That's the type of technology I'm talking about.
But lucky for you, we can use it in so many more ways than just fun.
Entonces, para ti puedes usarlo en muchas otras maneras que se puede divertir.
I mean, it's fun too, because of course, why not? So the reason that virtual reality is so unbelievably effective
La razón por la que la realidad virtual es tan efectiva
is because we only retain 10% of what we read,
por eso lo que tenemos 10% de lo que leemos,
30% of what we see,
30% de lo que vemos,
but 80% of what we experience.
80% de lo que hacemos.
And virtual reality is an experience.
la realidad virtual es una experiencia.
And we pull it out of that so I can see my notes. I don't have this quote memorized, sorry.
No me la sé esa todavía, pero
So this is a quote from Dr. Brennan Spiegel. He is the top neuroscientist at Stanford University.
número
And so obviously you can read it, but it's VR is not a brain trick. Training our minds is a capability we all have. VR just has a way of tapping into it differently. So a lot of people think that VR is a trick or it's just a toy and it can't be effective for serious important learning. But I'm here to prove to you that yes, it can. So I'm just going to give you a basic, quick, down and dirty explanation of what VR actually is. One problem is that there are so many different definitions, but the one that I use is from Eaton and Beezer in 2011. They say that immersive virtual reality, which is why I use the acronym IVR, is the ability to immerse the user in a virtual world with the use of a head-mounted display, sensing glove or controller, and it captures the user's input in real time. There are three key factors in that definition. First is the head-mounted display, which typically I make people use the real, actual definition. But with HMD, I get a little loose and I let you say headset. But don't say goggles. Oh. But when you put that headset on, it's going to block out all of the real world. So you are only going to be able to focus on what I want you to focus on. Because let's face it, when we're on Zoom or in a classroom or even right now, you have the ability to look at your phone. You can check your email. You can hit your Snapchat. You can do all that stuff. Let's face it, we're human. I do it too. But when you're in that headset, you're going to be focused on what I want you feeling. Also, the other important factor is the controller. Because now that allows me the ability to interact with my virtual environment. To create this concept of presence. Jesus did an amazing job researching this topic, so he's ready. He's ready to help explain. Basically, what it means is, if your VR experience and headset reach a certain level, then the brain cannot tell the difference between the real world and the virtual world. And the reason that it needs to be in real time for that presence is because everything that happens in that headset
Porque todo lo que pasa en ese caso
has to happen exactly how it would in the real world.
tiene que ser exactamente de la misma manera que en el mundo real.
So if I was like, you know what, I don't feel like doing this anymore, I'm gonna give the microphone.
Como si te dicen, ah, ¿sabes qué? Ya no quiero hacer nada, voy a hacer mi cosa". Conecté el teléfono, yo no lo reviso.
I don't want to do that in the
Y yo
headset.
quiero hacer con el caso puesto. Y él le tira su mano
And it's delayed.
y va a retrasar, no reacciona al mismo tiempo. Y te luego dice, esto no es real. Mi mano no real.
So it needs to match exactly how it would in the real world.
Necesita ir tal cual al mismo tiempo que se ve en el mundo real.
There's two types. One is really the immersive with the headset, and then the other is on the computer.
Hay dos tipos, uno que es inmerso directamente en el casco y otro que es inmerso.
Or tablet or phone or things
No,
like that.
cualquier dispositivo.
And the computer based is not as effective because you're still not immersed 360 degrees.
El que se hace en computadora no es tan efectivo porque no se convierte en 360 grados.
But it is a nice option, especially if you don't have access to a headset.
Pero es una buena opción si no tienes acceso a un casco de este tipo.
So the headset that I brought with us, that if anybody wants to try afterwards, you're welcome to,
El día de hoy, y si alguien quiere probarlo, pueden hacerlo con el
is the MetaQuest 2. That's at Facebook. Facebook changed their name to Meta. Who knows why, but it did.
No sé por qué cambiamos el nombre de Meta, pero bueno.
So it's the MetaQuest 2, and there's two key concepts that I'm going to try to be as simple as possible.
Dos conceptos básicos que voy a tratar de hacerlo más claro posible.
The first is 6 degrees of freedom or 6 DOF.
El primero se llama 6 grados de libertad.
And all that really means is that I can manipulate objects
Todo lo que eso quiere decir es que yo puedo manipular objetos
on the X, Y, and Z axis.
en planos de X, Y y Z.
So if I'm standing here with my microphone,
Que si estoy aquí de frente con el micrófono,
I can work on pitch,
puedo movimiento,
I can roll,
girar,
or
¿sí?
kind of pitch, I can roll, I can go. So I can manipulate it
Puedo
in
manipularlo
every.
en todas las direcciones.
There are some VR headsets that cannot do that.
Hay algunos cascos de este tipo que no pueden hacer eso.
And the reason that's important
La razón por la cual es importante.
is because if I'm repairing, let's say a car engine,
Digamos que si estoy reparando una máquina de un vehículo,
and I need to torque my wrench,
necesito apretar mi llave,
if the system doesn't allow me to do that movement,
el sistema no me permite hacer eso.
then why bother? Because it's not effective. Also, the 3D positional audio.
El audio tiene posición.
That means when you put that headset on,
Quiere decir que cuando te pones este casco,
not only are you going to see
no
360
simplemente
degrees,
vas a ver en 360 grados,
you're going to hear the audio
sino que vas a oír
from all different angles.
de todos los ángulos.
Have you ever been to the movies?
¿Has estado en el cine?
Remember like when new movies came out, you could hear it behind you,
Cuando las nuevas películas empezaron a salir, o escuchabas el ruido detrás de ti,
and it made the sound, it made the movie better and more exciting, maybe a
lo
horror
hizo más
movie.
realístico.
That's what the headset does.
De eso se trata.
So the first area that I'm going to talk about, we're seeing a massive investment in VR training,
Las primeras áreas que las que voy a comentar van a recibir una inversión masiva con el entrenamiento de inversión de realidad virtual,
is in policing in America, which we need it.
en la aplicación de la ley.
Just being honest,
Lo
we've
cual
had some issues and we need to make some changes.
es importante. Sabemos que hemos tenido problemas y necesitamos hacer algo.
So the headset that I brought today,
El caso que traje el día de hoy
this is what's called a standalone. Or I just, you could say individual, I guess.
pues, se llama el caso individual.
This is a wired headset.
Este es uno con cable,
That means it's wired to a computer because it needs more power.
está conectado a la computadora porque necesita más poder.
Resisting a home improvement bill. So when they had that backpack with the computer, not only does it allow for freedom of movement, but I can take that system and I can go to any station I want. I don't have to have anybody come to me. I don't have to pay to coordinate things. I just take my backpack, my headset, and I go. So I'm going to show a video of Maryland Police Department actually using it. Now, the closed captioning on Spanish. I will talk about a couple of things afterwards, but I'm going to let you just watch the video first. Then we're going to talk about it. As soon as Jim gets the closed captioning, then.
Police officers will never have to fire their service weapons, but increased scrutiny over the use of force finds Maryland safely using some high-tech training to de-escalate confrontations. And the answer is behavior. Give us a look at this new technology.
Whether it's an otherwise routine traffic stop or facing off with an armed suspect, recruits here are placed in virtual scenarios so they can make better decisions out in the real world.
As in reference to an intoxicated individual,
A Maryland state trooper received a call for help,
he's apparently outside the bar.
and the recruit is only armed with a backpack, a headset, and a replica weapon.
Apparently, they won't let me back in the bar. Look, I got inside, and they won't let me back in.
We'll talk tomorrow and see what we can do for that, but in the meantime, let's get you right home, okay? No, this isn't a shooting simulation. It's about making good decisions. Maryland State Police are believed to be the first agency in the region to use the Apex Virtual Police Simulator, where an instructor in one room can interact with a trooper outfitted with high-tech equipment in another to create almost a limitless number of scenarios, the goal of heading off violent confrontations before they ever happen.
Sometimes in these situations, there's no force at all used. You're using good verbal de-escalation and the scenario ends, and that's what we want. And then sometimes where the instructor may have somebody pull a knife, have somebody pull a gun, he controls it. We're gonna listen to and drop that knife, or listen and drop that gun, or there may be, where force may need to be used by the trooper that's in that scenario.
At a time when some are calling for a defunding of police, the agency used $110,000 in state money to purchase this system, which can be transported from one barrack to another across the state.
A huge advantage for the Maryland State Police, with us being spread from Garrett County and Deep Creek Lake to Ocean City. The problem with the screen-based technology is everybody would have to drive to a central location to use it.
No, this isn't about shooting subjects when law enforcers no longer have a choice.
Said you're gonna give me a ride.
It's about diffusing the situation before they have to pull the trigger.
You're right. I know you're saying, sir. Now, sir,
Thus far, the virtual reality training has been limited to recruits. The plan is to extend it to veteran troopers later this year. Reporting in Sykesville, Jeff Hager, WMAR2.
So there are some pretty unbelievable things happening in that video. And I'm going to try to kind of break them down for you. So back when you see this gentleman right here, he's interacting live with the officer in the simulation. There's two ways you can conduct these trainings. One would be using AI in predetermined scenarios. And the other one is when you actually have a live officer making the decisions. So I'm going to do something a little crazy. Who is the most senior officer in here? Who has the most experience? Who's been working the longest then? Somebody has, so you guys can't all be honest. Anybody? No? You don't want to admit it? Okay, so let's say, here's my own hand. Say you've been working for, look very young, so it's not a person. But let's say you've been on the course for 30 years. And again, and you're here too. Let's say you've been on the course for 10 days. Do you think he's gonna know more than he does? You think he's gonna have more experience? He's seen more. He might have, what you say, some tricks up his sleeve. He's seen some weird scenarios. So if we send him through a typical searching of a house scenario, in his young 10 days, he might not think, hey, there's somebody hiding in the refrigerator. But because we know people do desperate things, and because 10 years ago, he was trying to clear a house and somebody was hiding in the refrigerator. So now when he goes to that scenario, he knows that he can throw something different at him that he would never expect. And he's not doing that to trick him or to be mean. I mean, it's probably a little funny, but that's really not the point. The point is to keep him safe and let him go home at night. And doing it in VR allows it to be lifelike and exactly how it would be out in the real world. But he doesn't have to risk his life. You can run it over and over and over. You can change the environment. You can change the weather. You can change anything you want about it. And you never have to leave the room that you're in. You don't have to go find an old abandoned building. You don't have to go find a car. You don't have to go do anything. You have it all right here. Then the other part, you saw that he had a service weapon. That weapon is the exact weight and balance of his service weapon. And the reason again is that presence. That's why that's important. Because if he goes to pull that weapon and it feels like a toy gun, it's not going to be effective training. They also now have a taser. And they also have, there's another company that also has a full shotgun. And so this type of training isn't a, hey, let's play cops with it. It's serious training for serious professionals. And I usually wait till, at the end, but we're kind of mix it up here a little and ask if anybody has any questions whilst we're on the video. That's okay, you can say it again too. Gotcha, yes. So then, you see this wire right here? Just that one little wire connects to the computer. The reason that they have that computer is because this experience requires more processing. This does not require anything else. So when you take this out of the box, it's ready to go. You don't have to plug it into a computer or anything. But that means I can only get the processing power that can comfortably fit in this headset. So naturally, we're going to be able to get more power from a wired computer. Now I'll let you kind of think on that, I'm sure we plan that, so. But this is the taser that they've, actually now, introduced into their trainings. So, just to kind of, I'm gonna stick with the training, so we're the next one. Yeah. It's not only where we're seeing police, we're seeing our military. America are using it be training, the virtual reality training. They're using it in multiple different formats. From de-escalating and angry suspects to driving in unknown territories, multiple different weapons types, and pretty much any scenario that they think the military, that their soldiers are going to go through, they're working.
De hecho, pueden poner cualquier escenario que pueda ser.
Not only that, VR research is extending beyond just the individual soldier.
No solo eso, sino que la virtual se está yendo más allá que todo el soldado individualmente.
The university, MIT, got $100 million.
Cuando se ven aquí, recibieron 100 millones de dólares.
Not my university. And they're researching how one person in one VR headset can control an entire 100 fleet drones. So 100 drones can be controlled by one person in one headset. It's exciting but terrifying a little bit. So. Go back. So I know this is CSI Day. Not policing, but I don't want to get into there. But VR is also incredibly effective in CSI type situations. So we can create, just like with the combat situations, we can create any situation we want for a crime scene. And there's two different ways we can do that. The first one is computer-based imagery, or CGI. So if you've ever watched like Toy Story or animated movies, that would be a computer-generated movie. So this scenario here was created by a computer. The graphics are so high, the brain thinks it's real, but it isn't. So what's interesting about that is I can instantly change it up. If I want to move this over here, I can do it. If I want to change out a gun for a knife, I can do it. If I want to add some blood splatter over here, I can instantly do it. We're only limited by our imagination. The second way you can do it is using actual real images. So if you were at the presentation earlier, they were talking about the lasers and everything they were doing. That is what you can do. But for those of you who don't have a $50,000 camera, I personally don't. But I do have an iPhone. And there's a concept called photogrammetry. So before we started today, before I got to go, I came in with my phone. And I just scanned the room with my app. And I now have a 3D complete model of this entire room. Now I can take this right here, put it on my computer, and then pop it in the headset. So now, I could do that if there was already a crime scene here, or I can create my own, all with my phone. Of course, it's not gonna be as exactly precise as 50 grand. Let's face it, since we know we're probably not gonna get that, there's ways you can do it without having to invest all that money. So then now these are different scans of different rooms of the crime scene. They did exactly what I said, and they literally created a 3D model. So once you have that 3D model, you can do whatever you want. You can also use it for the courtroom. There's a couple different ways you can use it in the courtroom. I think eventually the judge or the jurors will be viewing the crime scene from the headset. But some other ways that you can effectively use it right now is if you're a lawyer and you want to prepare your opening speech, you can put that headset on. You can go into the exact courtroom that you will be performing in, and I say performing, but you know what I mean, presenting. And you can practice in the exact place that you'll be presenting. And then also getting different types of feedback. So the headset has a function called eye tracking. So you can activate this program, give your opening speech, and then get all kinds of instant feedback about how well you did. It will tell you how many words per minute you spoke. It will tell you if you were too fast or too slow. It'll count those hesitation words, like if you get nervous, you're like, it counts every one of those. And then it'll also track your eye movement. It even goes as far as if I'm only talking over here, and you know, you find that one person that nods their head when you're talking. You're like, oh great, she's actually paying attention. God, so this all the focus on her. Well, it'll actually tell you in the screen, shift your gaze. Look away. You're looking at her way too much. So it'll give you that instant feedback. So if I was doing that tonight and nobody bothered to tell me, I go practice in my headset, never tell me. So that applies to the courtroom or anything, job interviews, I mean, just anything you can think of. Yes, sir. Did you have a question? Gotcha. Yes. Okay. So, my esteemed colleague brought up a good point, which I was getting to, but I appreciate it. Come back. So now, do not judge me on my acting ability. I'm one of those people that watch CSI and Law and Order and stuff, so I'm going by what I see. Let's say you are training to enter a home, and you are looking for a suspect. Now, if you do this situation in real life, again, it's an important thing to know. I don't want, and I don't expect VR to replace that type of training. You're always going to continue to do that. But VR will give you more opportunities and support your learning in ways that you could otherwise do. So let's say you, sir, I'm gonna give you the commanding officer, I'm gonna do anything, it's okay, but you're gonna be watching me, okay? You watch me in my eyes. Yeah, you come here? Yeah. Oh. Here. I'm gonna have you. You're my favorite. And you, sir, in the back with the blazer, looking very nice. You stand up, yes, sir. You're gonna be my first assailant. So first bad guy. You're gonna be my second over here. Okay. So you're gonna stay quiet. I'm gonna come in and he's gonna get my attention. I'm gonna think I was successful. Last person I need, man with the yellow mask. When the action starts, and I come in at him, I just want you to just very easily just do this. That's it. Okay? So, about to come in the house. Chuck Norris kicking him. Come in, and I'm like, please. And you know what? You start. Sounds better. Here. Okay. All right, okay. Me and woman behind her, you were waiting, yes. Both of you wait for me. Okay, awesome. Thank you. One more time, we got it. Also, when I say right, here we go. Oh, police. Oh, we got it. We basically got it. You got it. So, commanding officer, why did I not see it? What was distracting me from getting it? Where was I looking? Oh, I was looking at it in the side. It's high caught my attention. But it looked like I was looking over here, didn't it? Well, if I had my VR headset on, it would have, just like those lasers from earlier this morning, it would have had lasers on exactly where my eyes were. When I came around and I saw him, and then you see her instantly, I was over here. Sure. That was, I'm hopeful you were checked to your left, but to be able to have that instant feedback and know exactly why you messed up. Is not possible with any other technology currently. You can only do that with VR. Which is what I'm trying to do. So, okay. I'm gonna grab a drink on that one, man. I know you guys have to do some calisthenics. So one more example, and then I'm gonna need you to see some of the real cool stuff. So there's some other ways we can use VR. A project that I'm currently working on with the Louisville Metro Police Department and the healthcare professionals is we're actually creating a VR training simulation for first responders who have to perform sexual assault tests and exams on minors.
aplicado pruebas de abuso sexual en menores.
So understandably so, that's a very sensitive topic.
Claro que entendiendo que es un tema muy sensible.
Yes, you can use the, you know, the dolls, dummies, I
Claro que
don't
puede
think
estar
that's
un
easy
niño,
anymore. But it's not the best.
pero no es lo mejor.
We're certainly not going to ask a 6-year-old child to come in and be a volunteer for us for that. So in order to get the most effective
Para poder
training
tener el entrenamiento más efectivo
on such a sensitive topic,
en un tema tan sensible,
that's why we can utilize VR.
podemos usar. Debería-
Because just think, if you are that person that's gonna go have to check and see if that 4-year-old child was sexually assaulted, you don't wanna mess that up.
No quieres estar
You wanna be sensitive.
quieres ser sensible,
You wanna be respectful.
quieres ser respetuoso,
You don't wanna make a mistake and have to do it
no
again
quieres cometer un error, tienes que ser pequeño.
and put that child through that experience
Y
again.
poner una experiencia con hacer.
So we're creating this VR training to help those professionals to be able to perfect that skill.
Para ayudar a esos profesionales para que puedan hacer bien.
So it can be used for things like that when it's a very sensitive topic.
Puede usarse también para casos tan sensibles.
Oh, and just one quick thing I did want to point out.
Un punto más que quiero,
One of the things that we do that we did during COVID
una de las cosas que reunimos durante el COVID,
was we used technology to clean the headsets.
usamos la tecnología para limpiar los cascos.
And we continue to, just to make sure that we guarantee that they're sanitary.
Y continuamos haciendo todo para asegurar.
But you're just gonna use a non-bleach cleaner.
Puedo usar un-
But just like with any technology, you want to make sure that you maintain it. So I just like to point that out.
No, we'll go to your stuff.
I have an amazing firefighting simulation that I'm doing with high school students. But I'm gonna save that if anybody can wants to see it or something. I'm absolutely willing to show it and talk about it. But I want to focus on the more police.
Tengo un
Experience.
video de comunicación virtual con bomberos, si alguien interesa ver al final, puedo platicarlo, pero ahorita quisiera enfocarme más en
I also just want to point this out, it's got my contact info, if you want contact me.
el comercial. Tengo
And the real card. That's my puppy Peggy. I had to show her, she's a little sorry. But, so what we're gonna do is, do you guys want to actually see the technology? You guys want to maybe, somebody maybe try it? I know, you have the world's first, so we probably put you to sleep a little bit. Happen to me more than once in class. But what we're gonna do is my wonderful husband Jim, is he's gonna actually get into the headset and he's gonna go through one of these police military style experiences. We're hoping it passes. That means what he sees in the headset, we're gonna see up here. Just so you can see what it actually is. If it looks like it's stopping or it's not smooth, that's not the experience, that's just the internet from the headset to the screen. The real experience is smooth and real time, like I explained earlier. So he has his two controllers. He cannot see anything in the real world. So I can punch him in the face, he'd never see it coming. Yep. So we're gonna- All right, so now he's choosing a role. You can choose your weapon, all that kind of stuff, your primary weapon, secondary weapon. attachments, which all can be customized to what you actually use.
pueden ser lo más similares a lo que tú en realidad usas.
So now he's actually going and trying to complete his task of finding people. See how he's looking around buildings and around the corner?
De hecho, tienes que estar buscando encontrar a las personas que son como que se están moviendo al mismo tiempo, ¿no? Cogiendo la superficie.
Yeah, this is like a desert scenario,
Un escenario de un desierto,
but you can change those.
pero puedes cambiar.
And so now he's looking through his scope, and he's actually shooting, and he clearly is not. His ability is about as good as my ability.
There was a guy by the desk over there.
Exactly. Exactly. And when he squeezes that trigger, the controller actually provides feedback. So just like when you get low. Sorry, one day for me too. Just like you would get kickback when you fire a weapon, that's what actually happens with the controllers. And so remember, and so see, you can even be marksman, you can do different things, you can be on the range, you can be training to find people, you can do all different kinds of things. So this is just another example of another way we're using it in training. And this headset was only $399 US. So in comparison, some of the other things you've heard today, yeah. And this screen stereo was about $40. But what you're getting for what you pay. I'm gonna let him keep playing, and you can keep watching too, but one thing I wanted to kind of just hammer home as I'm rounding it up, wrapping it up. Is the reason that VR is so effective is because you are practicing a 3D concept in a 3D format. So when you're out patrolling, doing your job, picking up something off the ground, that's all 3D. But when I then take that same training, let's say from a body cam footage, and they show that body cam footage to train with, which yes, that's great. But I'm now trying to consume that 3D experience on a 2D format. So that means that I don't get depth. And my view is fixed to whatever that camera was fixed. So if I use that body cam footage, so if I use body cam footage and I was here and I just stood behind this wall the whole time, when I'm then watching that video back, can I see what's happening over there? No, because I can only see where that camera shot. However, if I'm in VR, in a 3D environment, just like Jim did, I can now look around and I can see what's over there. You can't do that with standard 2D video. And another practical reason this is important is we'll use a fun example for this one. If now we'll keep it with me. So if I am on, again, if I'm on patrol and maybe
Okay, you beat you to it. Okay. Listen, right there, see right there. So, if he's going to pull a knife on me from that distance,
Una de esa distancia.
I can physically see that distance right
Yo
now.
puedo físicamente ver esa distancia.
If I'm watching a training video,
Si estoy viendo un video de entrenamiento,
am I able to tell that distance?
puedo saber la diferencia entre el
Probably not to the degree I would want.
no a nivel que yo quisiera.
So, if he's got that knife and he pulls it here, and I'm in VR, I know, because I know this is the distance. Might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 steps. Maybe 7, maybe 5, depends on your height. If he's at that distance, I can effectively know through my training
Yo puedo saber efectivamente por mi entrenamiento
that I have enough time to pull my taser or my gun.
que tengo suficiente tiempo para sacar mi movilizador o mi pistola.
Now take, come down 2 steps.
Baja 2 pasos, por favor.
Now, if I'm perfect. Perfect. Now, again, I'm using that same body camera.
Con la misma grabación.
It's kind of, so, he's this much closer. Now, if he starts attacking me from this
Es
distance,
difícil saber si está más cerca.
how many steps do I have?
O si está cerca,
Go straight. Is that gonna give me enough time
dar tiempo
to protect myself?
para que
I don't think so, but, so if he comes at me, now he's that much closer, and now he's got me. So I couldn't train that from videos. Wonderful. Thank you, fantastic. So it's that 3D concept. That's why it's so much more effective for all subjects. I work with a wide range of trainers. I'm working with quarterbacks in American football. Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Josh Allen, Bill Bills. Working with athletes, virtual reality. I work with teachers, like I said, the firefighters, full wide range of topics because it's that 3D world. Kind of did a glitch or you stop on it? Oh, I stopped. You stopped on it. So that's kind of my spiel. Woo! But if anybody has any questions, anybody wants to try, anybody's interested, you got me for another 10 minutes? That's all I'm gonna do. So that's one thing you do. That's one thing that you kind of have to factor in. This experience though, I can download onto the headset. So then I can do training and I don't need the internet. So those locations that maybe don't have good internet or good signal, I can still go and train. If I want to cast and show people like this, you still need a little bit. And there are some trainings that do require the internet. But over the last 14 years of my career doing this, I never had funding, I never had money. A lot of times I didn't have the internet. So I found out all the ways to do it with removing those barriers. Because let's face it, those are barriers. Anybody else? I saw I thought of somebody. It's one of the people that left out early. No problem. That's good.
Approximately how long has this technology been used?
Great question. With policing, like just recently in the last couple of months. And the reason is because the technology, even though it's developing rapidly, it still has a little bit more to go for price point and comfort.
But every capability that is on this headset, there's not going to be anything new that they're going to develop that this headset isn't capable of doing.
No van a desarrollar algo que esto no haga.
It has that 6 degrees of freedom that I
Ya
mentioned.
tiene 6 niveles de libertad.
It also has a front-facing camera,
Tiene una cámara de frente.
so I can activate that camera,
Puedo activar esa cámara
and then I can see everything that's happening in this room.
y después puedo ver.
I never have to take my headset off.
Tiene una-
So what we're seeing with newer headsets,
Estamos viendo con los nuevos
longer battery life,
baterías de almacenamiento.
cooling systems, because they can get
Están
a little
adentro
hot.
también, que se pueden-
But so that as the technology is catching up,
es como la tecnología va avanzando.
it's just about convincing people that it's legitimate.
Entonces, está ayudando a convencer a la gente que es algo ya.
And like I said before, despite having tons of research and data to prove that it's effective,
A pesar de tener tan importantes investigaciones y pruebas de que es efectivo,
people don't want to believe that it's effective,
la gente todavía no quiere creer que funciona.
and they're very stuck in their ways and afraid of change.
Están muy atorados en forma de ser y tienen miedo al cambio.
It's the, we've always done it this way and it's always worked
Siempre
method.
lo hemos hecho así, cierto, pues,
So why would we change now?
¿por qué lo debemos cambiar?
So when people learn that it's not replacing them, It's just helping them. we start to see more of that buy-in. That specific police department got their system about 6 months ago.
Ese departamento de policía en específico consiguió ese tipo de tecnología.
Still pretty new, still on that cutting edge.
¿Alguna otra pregunta?
Anybody else?
El uso prolongado del casco puede ocasionar algún daño en el cerebro a personas.
Is there any evidence that there might be damage of the overuse of
Also a great question, I get that all the time.
varias
I completed my PhD researching, utilizing VR in children. At different
veces.
ages.
El casco en niños.
So I know pretty much every research study that's been done on VR.
Es que casi te digo, la mayoría de las investigaciones que tienen.
And that's not a brag or a flex. That's what I had to
Y
do.
no estoy presumiendo, simplemente que lo he hecho.
And there is absolutely no evidence of
Ninguna sola evidencia,
any type of screen time damage.
ningún tipo de daño.
There's actually
Población en la pantalla.
3 studies out of Japan
Hay 3 estudios hechos en Japón.
that show that it improved people's vision.
Comentan que mejoró la visión de usuarios.
So the idea that the screen being right here hurt the eyes is close to being proven. It's like any other technology though, you don't want to overdo screen time. And I wouldn't expect anybody here who's never done it to get in there and be able to do it for 30 minutes.
No esperaré que alguien que nunca lo ha hecho pudiera agarrar o empezar a usar durante 30 minutos.
Just like I wouldn't expect anybody who's never ran before to go around a marathon.
Como si yo esperara que nadie que alguien que no ha corrido antes que vaya a correr un maratón.
You train and you build up your tolerance.
Te vas entrenando y vas desarrollando tu tolerancia.
And I also wouldn't put anybody on a roller coaster right away.
Tampoco soy
You've never done it.
montaña rusa la primera vez.
But because the graphics and everything are so much better, we don't see that motion sickness
Pero
like we
como
used
han
to.
mejorado mucho las tenemos ese mareo que daba de movimiento que está en la vida.
But one thing you would want to be careful of, and I always like to point this out,
Algo que sí tienes que tener cuidado.
is because the brain sometimes can't distinguish if it's real or not,
Porque el cerebro a veces no puede distinguir claramente si es real o no.
that holds great power.
Eso es un gran poder.
So with some really young children, like under the age of 5,
Son unos chicos de bajo menos de 5.
there's a risk of creating a false memory.
Hay un riesgo de crear una falsa memoria.
Like they think that experience actually happened.
Puede empezar primero.
Or if you have anybody who has any PTSD,
O alguien que tiene problemas.
it can be incredibly triggering.
Puede ser real.
But on that same hand, they're using it in mental health all the time because it is so effective. So those triggers, you know, instead of sending an alcoholic out to a bar to fight getting triggered, you can put them in the headset instead.
En lugar de mandar un
So you want to be careful. I've used it with 5-year-olds,
Hay
but
que
that's
usarlo
the
con
youngest
cuidado y
I
hay que
use.
usarlo con niños pequeños, pero
And I'd say about 10 minutes max.
menos de 10 minutos. ¿Alguno que pregunte?
Anybody want to come play?
¿Alguien
You don't have
quiere
to
jugar
do
un
that
ratito?
experience.
¿Alguien quiere jugar?
Play games.
Puede
I'm
ser
telling
otro.
you that it's all fun of them.
No tiene que ser ese, puede ser otro, si alguien gusta jugar.
That's a good question.
It could be used like in machines, having that.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Sí, por supuesto.
So the gentleman earlier that scanned the crime scene and everything, and they have it on their computer, you could put it in the headset and then physically walk through the entire crime scene. So anything that a computer can make, you can make for the headset. Because it's basically a computer on your face.
Todo lo que te puedes hacer con el instrumento lo puedes poner en
Anything a computer can do, I can do. I can check my
todo
bag.
una computadora. Eso es lo que haces. Puedes caminar a través de la zona virtualmente.
So however you create the crime scene,
En el que tú
put it
creas
on the
la
headset.
escena del crimen, lo pones en el casco y ahí puedes.
That could be the computer generated images or those real pictures.
Por computadora o de las mismas.
And you can use 360-degree video.
Puedes usar video de 360 grados.
If you go home tonight and on YouTube, just type in 360 video,
Si quieres
You're
checar
gonna
en YouTube,
all these videos that you can watch.
es en 360.
Now you won't have them on the headset, but you can, on the screen, you can move the camera. So you can see that video.
Eso se puede probar con el casco o directamente.
360
Puedes mover la cámara y hacer una visita de 360 grados a la fecha que tienes.
And that's all free content. You gotta be careful what you check though.
Los contenidos de
Watch what you
los
search.
o con
Sure, it's
cuida tu gusto.
it's the internet.
El internet.
But that's a no-cost way to get started without having to create anything.
No hay manera que no podamos nosotros sin haber creado algo.
So like in Kentucky, we have the Kentucky Derby, the horse race. There's a 360-degree video from the jockey's point of view
Un video de 360 grados desde perspectiva del jockey.
of the horse race. So you can go basically ride the Kentucky Derby for free.
Puedes subirte en un caballo en Kentucky Derby.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for at least fake laughing. If nothing else.
Ya los que quieran hacer la realidad más práctica, pues lo pueden hacer. Entonces, el luego su diploma, la Facultad de Derecho, Abogado Luciano Arriaga de la Universidad Autónoma de San Luis Potosí, extiende la presente constancia a la doctora Sharon Putnam de la Universidad de Louisville por su participación en el ciclo de conferencias de Criminología y Tecnología, con la conferencia Realidad Virtual, cómo mejorar la investigación y el procedimiento criminal. Siempre autónoma por mi parte de Bucarest, San Luis Potosí, 6 de marzo, y firma el director de la Facultad de Derecho. Muchas gracias. Y también tenemos un presente para nuestro traductor del día de hoy, Jesús Gutiérrez, que le hacemos un agradecimiento por habernos hecho un excelente trabajo el día de hoy. Bueno, si quieren, ya terminaron la conferencia. Si alguien quiere quedarse, hacerles alguna pregunta o hacer la realidad actual, aquí lo pueden hacer. Muchas gracias por su atención y gracias por acompañarnos.
Thank you so much.
You did wonderful.
The pause, right? Like you got to take one sentence with one sentence.
Good.
Loaded some things.
So, ¿qué me dices? Aquí.
If there's a question, if there's somewhat of an attack or like a hacking thing, could it be done on the headset or?
Just like any other device.